kids, we can talk about plants. Today, we can talk about plants. Does that sound good?
It does sound good.
Okay!
Hey guys, today's video is a beginner's guide to plant care, specifically houseplants. If you've always wanted to have houseplants but don't know where to start or have killed a bunch and so you're scared to try again, this is the video for you. So let's get going. Alright, the first thing you're going to want to do is assess yourself. You need to be aware of what kind of plant parent you're going to be. Are you a leave it and forget about it sort of parent? Or are you one that likes to show a lot of love and give it lots of drinks of water? You need to know these things about yourself because what plant you choose is going to be affected by that. Shh! I love having plants in my house. They're awesome to look at. I love seeing them grow, them thrive whenever I take care of them. I love seeing how unique they've been created, how no two plants are the same, even if they're in the same species. So I see having plants in my home as just a reminder of how great my God is. So let's just take a moment to think about what kind of plant parent you would be and what you're looking for in a plant. Are you wanting to just have a plant that's kind of nice to look at, but you don't really have to do much to it? Or do you like the idea of taking care of a plant, being involved with it? Keep these things in mind when you go and shop for plants.
Kids, number one, don't overwater your plants.
All right, let's talk about water. In some cases, more water is actually not more love. Some plants like less water, some plants like more water. Some plants, if you don't water enough, they will shrivel up and die. Others, if you water too much, they will rot and die. Refer to your little plant label and see what your plant actually wants.
Don't be selfish when you water the plants. Guys, don't you over your plants. Number two, you need to water your plants.
Plants need water to survive. Like us, they are made of 70 to 80% water. Base how you water your plants by how the soil feels and what that plant wants to sit in moisture-wise. Water your plants based on how the soil feels rather than a timed schedule like once a week, once every 2 or 3 days. Base your watering off of how quickly your soil dries out. The reason why schedules don't work is because a lot of components go into how quickly soil dries out. The time of year, how warm it is in your home, the type of soil that it's in, the type of container it's in, and what kind of plant it is. So even for one plant, watering once a week during the growing season of summer and spring is okay, but when it goes into dormancy, once a week is going to be too much. So that's why I want you to base your watering off of how the soil feels. And this gets me to get your hands on your plants. Get a feel for what they feel like, look like. I mean this by how heavy the pot feels after you've watered it. Stick your finger in the soil to see how moist it is. For instance, this aloe vera wants to be dried out completely before I rewater it. So if I'm sticking my finger down here and I'm getting soil stuck to my finger, that means that I don't need to water yet. If it's bone dry, time to water. Take your plant over to your sink and water deeply, which basically just means you're watering until water comes out the bottom hole. Set it in the sink or the shower and annoy your husband. Pots have an effect on how quickly your soil dries out. This is a terracotta pot and this is very porous. Terracotta allows the soil to dry out much quicker than, say, a plastic pot. Plastic keeps that moisture in. And going along with pots, always get a pot that has a drain hole in it. If you find a pot that you just love and it doesn't have a drain hole, don't worry, there's a little hack. Keep the plant in the nursery pot, simply put the whole thing in the pot. That way it makes it easier to water as well. The type of water that you use can have an effect on your plants. Tap water has chlorine, fluoride, and heavy minerals that can really mess up the soil. Not so much immediately, but over time. The chlorine can change the pH of the soil, making it more alkaline, whatever it may be, and that is going to affect your plant in the long run. So it's best to use either rainwater, distilled water, filtered water, or if you have to use tap water, I recommend letting it sit out for about 24 hours, and a lot of the chlorine and the fluoride will kind of dissipate and the heavy minerals will fall to the bottom. For years I used tap water, and honestly my plants did all right.
Number 5, plus me food.
First thing you want to do is look at the label again to see what kind of fertilizer or how often to fertilize your plant. These labels have vital information on them, although you could just Google your plant if you know what the plant is called. But this is a quick reference. These labels that come with plants usually have labeled the light requirement, the watering requirement, and the fertilizing requirement, and also what temperature this plant likes. I use a general purpose indoor plant food. This is Miracle-Gro, and it's an instant feeder. I use this for most of my house plants. I do have this organic cactus and succulent plant food, so I do use this for my succulents. You can get very specific about what each plant wants. Some plants want more nitrogen, some plants want more potash, and that kind of depends on what's the main factor of your plant. Is it the foliage, the green, or is it a plant that blooms, in which case it's going to want something a little different. There is a general rule about fertilizer that you only fertilize during the growing season, which is spring and summer. You want to stop feeding either so often or just don't feed at all during the winter months when they go dormant.
Number 3, plants need light.
Assess what kind of light you are getting throughout the day. And if you're unsure of what kind of light you have, I'm going to make it simple for you. Take your compass app and find out which directions your windows face. For instance, I have mostly east and south facing windows. So naturally, in the morning, I get a lot of light coming in, but it's not so bright in the south facing windows. And then it changes through the day. And in the afternoon, I have sun pouring in my west facing windows. There are 3 different types of light that is categorized for plants typically: low light, medium light, and high light. Now make note the difference between indirect light and direct light. Indirect light being it's filtered sun. It's not the direct sunbeams on your plants. Some plants thrive on direct sunlight, others will burn with direct sunlight. So let's quickly go over what we've learned. Number 1, assess yourself and your home. See what kind of plant parent you're going to be, and what kind of plants can you accommodate in your home with the amount of light that you have. And plants need light, water, and food to survive. You can indeed underwater and you can indeed overwater. Both can kill plants, but it depends on the plant. I've had a lot of fun sharing all this with you today. If you liked this video, please hit like. There's a huge plant community online, so let's get involved, help each other out, share each other's knowledge that you have. So there is help if you have questions.
Don't overwater your plants. That would be sad.